safe and sound during this hard times. I'm Dr. Sreeparna Samanta, today's moderator for your session. I'm working as Scientific Relationship Manager with Balani Infotech. On behalf of Balani Infotech, I welcome you all to our Big Info webinar series. Our today's session is entitled World Library, a primary source of library content. For today's session, we have eminent speakers from across India and from World Library team, who all will be sharing their valuable views over the importance of primary sources. As our higher education and research across different fields continues to evolve, the need for the primary resources is also emerging very rapidly. Importance of primary resources in terms of every field, however, I feel I will keep the rest of the topic for our speakers. And at the very onset, I would like to announce some of our ground rules. If anybody drops out of the webinar, they can join us back with the particular link that we have shared. At the end of the session, we will be having a quiz for our participants where there will be 3 winners will be announced and prizes will be sponsored from Balani Infotech side. So stay tuned till the end of the session. So now as a brief introduction to Balani Infotech. Balani Infotech Private Limited, along with its sister concern iGroup Infotech India Private Limited, is the leading electronic information service provider in Indian subcontinent. We are exclusive marketing and channel partner of World Library in India presently. Balani Group has more than 3 decades of experience in dealing with 40 plus global publishers, serving in different areas of knowledge and research. Now, without further ado, I would like to commence today's session, and I'm excited to announce that this session will be full of prizes for our participants that are being sponsored by Balani Infotech. So the prize amount will be 2,500, 1,500, and 1,000 Amazon gift coupons from our side. For today's session, we have Professor P.P. Chakrabarti, Department of Computer and Science Engineering, IIT Kharagpur. He's our keynote speaker for today's session. He's also presently Principal Investigator at NDLI. We have Dr. Jagdish Arora sir with us, Advisor in NBA, and he's ex-Director of InClibNet. We have Mr. Krys Foo from World Library as our guest speaker. For our eminent panel of panelists, we have Dr. Manorama Tripathi, Dr. P.V. Kannur, and Dr. Jatinder Kumar from LPU. We have Manorama ma'am from JNU. So now moving ahead, I would like to invite Mr. Kailash Balani for his welcome note. Mr. Kailash Balani is a very well-known personality in the knowledge fraternity. Mr. Kailash Balani has been in the publishing industry since 1974, and his companies, namely Aditya Brook Private Limited, Aditya Books Private Limited, Balani Infotech Private Limited, and iGroup Infotech Private Limited have served the libraries for many years by providing quality content, be it in print book, e-journals, database, and e-books of reputed publishers and different scientific societies. He loves traveling. He has attended many international book fairs and has participated in many national and international conferences and seminars on publishing. Mr. Balani is the former president of Federation of Publishers and Booksellers Association in India and also member of Publishing Committee of the Federation of India Chamber Commerce and Industries. So Kailash sir, over to you.
Thank you, Sreeparna, for setting up the introductions and inviting various participants and our learned speakers today. Namaste. To welcome Professor P.P. Chakrabarti, whom I've known for many years, and I've also visited his office when he was the director of the IIT Kharagpur, and I was given a very warm welcome when I was with him with the World Library team a couple of years ago. So thank you, Professor Chakrabarti. Dr. Jagdish Arora, who's also with us today, Mr. Krys Foo, Dr. Manorama Tripathi, Dr. P.V. Kannur, Dr. Jatinder Kumar, Dr. Sreeparna Samanta, all the virtual participants, and I think they are in large numbers. I can see 290 plus participants today. And they are all from different parts of India and from different disciplines. Students, last but not the least, Balani Group staff members for organizing this important webinar on World Library, a primary source of library content. We are very happy that today we have with us such a galaxy of speakers who have been researchers, teachers, librarians, also in various industry advisory capacity and positions with the Government of India, and are widely traveled in and outside of India. I take this opportunity to thank all the learned speakers for sparing their valuable time to be with us and to share their thoughts on this subject. We are also thankful to Dr. P.P. Chakrabarti and Dr. Jagdish Arora for selecting and subscribing to World Library, which is a millennium ebook collection of over 2 million ebooks for the years 1617, 1718, and 1819, which was sponsored by the Ministry of Education. The content was delivered by the NDLI portal for the benefit of students, researchers, faculties, etc. throughout India. NDLI provided free access to all the universities, major institutions, and also to over 4,000 colleges under Enlist program, for which we are thankful to the Ministry of Education and NDLI. We work with NDLI team, and we are very fortunate that we had a very good relationship with them, and we worked for 3 years. And at the end of the 3 years, we were supposed to provide almost 600,000 books permanently for NDLI website, and which was, very well executed by NDLI team. And now the Indian students and the researchers enjoy and have access to those 600,000 books permanently. World Library was heavily used, and it has over 2 million ebooks on all possible subject areas, and also has many books in various Indian languages. Keeping in view the NEP 2020, the World Library will be a very useful primary library source of knowledge for researchers, as this is being a millennium collection. It has books which were published even or printed 1,000 years ago. We also hope that, keeping in mind the demand for this World Library, NDLI and the Ministry of Education to kindly reconsider and renew the subscription for the benefit of the large number of students and researchers in India. India is trying to double the student ratio from currently 25% to 50% of the population. And I think World Library will play a major role in helping students and researchers to find the right content for their research. I know that we are here to listen to experts and not to me, and therefore I would hand over the mic to Dr. Sreeparna Samanta, today's moderator, to take this event forward. I would once again like to give my sincere thanks to all the speakers and guests for sparing their valuable time to attend this webinar. Thank you very much once again, and hope you all enjoy this event. Over to Dr. Sreeparna Samanta. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kailash sir, for such a warm welcome to all our speakers and such a nice introduction about the World Library. So now, moving ahead in our session, I would like to invite our keynote speaker, Professor Prathim Chakrabarti. He has completed his BTech in 1985 and PhD in 1988 from Department of Computer Science and Engineering, IIT Kharagpur. Then he joined the same department as faculty member in 1988, and he is presently professor in that particular department. Formerly, he was the director of IIT Kharagpur. Presently, he is principal investigator of NDLI. He has been the dean of sponsored research and industrial consultancy at IIT Kharagpur and head of the Advanced Technology Development Center. He was also the co-director of the Strategic General Motors IIT Kharagpur Collaborative Research Laboratories on Electronics, Controls and Software. He pioneered the development of incubation program at IIT Kharagpur. His areas of interest include artificial intelligence, formal methods, CAD for VLSI and embedded system, fault tolerance and algorithm design. He has worked closely with government as well as industry on various projects and has successfully led and completed large products on program at national and international level. He has been leading the key national initiatives, including recent ones like the National Digital Library, GYAN, National Ranking, Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, Sandhi, Future of Cities, Imprint, T10KT, and several other plans for IIT initiatives. So, welcoming you, Chakrabarti sir. Now, our virtual podium is open for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samanta. Dr. Mr. Kailash Balani, Dr. Jagdish Arora, Mr. Krys Foo, the other panelists, Dr. P.V. Konur, Dr. Manorama Tripathi, and Dr. Jatinder Kumar. It is my great pleasure and honor to be part of this initiative because, as you all know, that such initiative is very close to the heart of many of us who have assembled here. And we have been working very hard together in many, many ways to help transform and provide digital education and digital content to the people of India in particular. And we have now started moving to the people of the world. I shall share with you a brief vision of the National Digital Library and what we should do as we go ahead with the new education policy. So I will be sharing my screen and moving ahead. Is the screen visible, the full screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's visible. Yeah.
Right. So, okay. So, So the National Digital Library was an initiative launched in 2015 in order to consolidate digital content of India, and with a modest hope that we will slowly integrate and get about 5 lakh content. Today, it has become India's core national knowledge asset, and that has been done not just by the National Digital Library of India team, but by a large number of contributors, participators, of which Dr. Jagdish Arora has played a stellar role. The Kailash Balani's group has played a very contributing role and supportive role. And many others who I noticed have been joining this seminar and webinar have been participating in this. So it is now slowly a national coordinated effort, which is coordinated by NDLI, hosted and run by NDLI. Today, as we know, any nation's need is quality lifelong education and knowledge for anyone, anytime, anywhere. And this lifelong education, anyone, anytime, anywhere, has become more and more stark with the pandemic. The pandemic has shown us that this vision of 2015 of building the National Digital Library was indeed a godsend, because it proved to be the lifeline of school, college education of this country during this period. Also, the library has begun to evolve. There was this old concept of where we used to go to a library and read books. Today, we go to a library, but we need not go physically all the time. Secondly, it is not just books. We have now digital content of a variety of kinds. And with the advent of artificial intelligence and machine learning, this has become more and more stark. And with this huge growth and speed, India needed to consolidate. And why? This is a slide which we had shown in 2015, that there will be a digital ecosystem for education, where there will be a knowledge repository, there will be courses offered digitally, there will be certificate programs offered digitally. And I'm very happy to see, just in 6 years down the line, how the nation has moved ahead with the support of all and the directions of the ministry and the government and support of all the state governments. This slide, the National Digital Library, has become a foundational knowledge source. So the National Digital Library is now becoming the one library for all of India. It has got 73 million content in 400 languages from 350 sources with at least 32 lakh active users. Moreover, with the pandemic in the picture, there has been a huge surge in the access, because everything from school education to college education to lifelong learning, any requirement of knowledge, we have been able to provide. And that has been possible because a large number of these 350 plus sources have contributed, from large institutions to repositories like the World Library, as well as individuals, from ordinary citizens to teachers to students, who have started contributing into this effort, which I believe is slowly becoming a movement. What is NDLI? It is a 24/7 umbrella library. We do not store contents. The contents are with the owners. We integrate all the contents. We provide a single search browse facility. It covers all disciplines and all academic levels. And the most important things are collections. There are vertical collections on topics. There are also collections based on various very core and very interesting groups, like the school level, the college level, engineering, law, etc. As I just mentioned, digital content is not necessarily only in books or ebooks. So other than text, video, audio, simulation, image, animation, software, code, data, all of this have become important. While we have language, about 400 language content in the National Digital Library of India, we also provide user interface in 10 plus Indian languages. Universities, R&D institutions, individual learners, and another very interesting thing that we have done, library club, which I shall come to later. There are two ways in which the National Digital Library can be accessed. One is the web app. If you just type National Digital, you will, I'm sure this will be one of the earliest hits that you will get. It has become so popular. Other than India, Bangladesh, Nepal, many of the people in the African continent as well as in the Gulf countries have now started collaborating with us. We also have a mobile app, both in Android and iOS, which you can download from the Play Stores. One of the most important parts of NDLI is academic content. Now, this academic content is very critical, because whereas there are very many other search engines who provide various kinds of content, but we have structured it in a very detailed manner with lecture slides, animations, question banks, model answers, manuals, term papers, assignments, solutions. For example, all the school boards, almost all the school boards have provided their content free to the National Digital Library of India, which means that if you want to study and you're stuck at home, All you need to do is access the National Digital Library of India, look for Karnataka School Board, and then ask whether you can get the class 2 English material or history material. And you can get it for various boards. Secondly, you want to access the thesis that has been produced and stored at InflibNet. InflibNet, of which Dr. Jagdish Arora was the director at one point in time, and who made foundational improvement of this institution. I believe that if you now want to search thesis available worldwide, both in India, in InflibNet, in IIT Bombay, or in Michigan University, you could all search all of them through the National Digital Library. Then faculty publications, then annual reports, working papers, encyclopedias, dictionaries. Now, with the advent of AI and machine learning, data sets, benchmarks, manuscripts, I shall be very happy to tell you that Satyajit Ray, the great doyen of filmmaking of India, he had made his workbooks. Each of these workbooks are about 800 to 1,000 pages of each of his films, which contain his detailed scripts, drawings, sketches, notes, and everything. And for all his 33 films, we have all his workbooks made available by the Satyajit Ray Foundation. Similarly, we have got manuscripts, paintings, and now we are collecting news, music, drama, map, software, and a large variety. And I don't have time to go through all of them. And I would really appreciate if those who have not seen the National Digital Library go and see it. One of the major contributions of the National Digital Library to digital library formation in India and the world has been the metadata. So this is information about the content. And with the doyen of experts from India and abroad, NDLI has been able to coordinate and get the best of the people from India and the world to develop the metadata structure. And this metadata structure has been made public and is becoming a standard for everybody else to use. Next, very soon in the next month, we are going to come up with the digital copyright manual. And that will again become a gold standard for librarians. And we will be inaugurating that, releasing that on the world in the Library Day on August 12th. The most important part of education, and while various people have various roles to play, openness and inclusiveness is critical for NDLI, because we want to be that basis which is open to all. Anyone can access, use open contents on all subjects. We are willing to partner with anyone who can provide us as much as they can. What is the uniqueness? It is open to all. Registration and login is not essential, though it is recommended for a much better experience. It has a huge number of open public access content, which is going to meet the Sustainable Development Goal 16 and part of NEP 2020. It has got nationally licensed contents, and the World eBook Library, as Balani ji just mentioned, was part of this whole national for 3 years. And we had about more than 72 lakh material available. Now we have the 5 or 6 lakhs content that has been made permanently provided to us. We have been continuing to request the government and the ministry to renew these licenses, and we will continue to do so. We have got various powerful filtering techniques which would be able to pinpoint your search even much better than other search engines that are available. And we are using this, people are using this and integrating with us to meet this quality education. We have about 60 lakh registered users, 15,000 participating institutions, 2 lakh daily hits per day. Another very important activity where we are now working in order to provide library access, content generation, and activity around digital libraries is the National Digital Library of India Club. That means that every college, institution, school, group can form such a club. And we are working with these people to really have several activities, and we have started having some wonderful activities. Just a couple of weeks ago, one of our valiant generals, General Cardozo, he has written a book on the 1971 war, and he gave a very powerful interview across the NDLI clubs. So this reading week, reading month, all these have become a new kind of activity as the library is evolving into a new entity as compared to before. So today we have about 2,300 plus clubs all over the country. As we said, the NEP 2020 with discussion with NDLI has got 4 items typically listed for such digital libraries and knowledge. One is the SDG 4. The NEP 2020 mandate says a digital repository of content of coursework, learning games, simulation, augmented and virtual reality will be developed. And the National Digital Library meets almost all of them. All Indian languages content and associate arts and culture will be there, including dictionaries, video recordings, etc., etc. We already have much content and we are now working towards a mechanism, and we need everybody's help in this country, all collaborators, to provide us with more and more such content. Inclusion in learning, we want innovations in learning. And from, the National Digital Library of India Club is the best way to transmit innovations. We are having video documentaries, fun fables, even people, mothers reading out stories to their child, even that recording coming out and being made available to other children. How can we translate things into Indian languages? How can we provide audiobooks? So all these low-cost, topic-centered, project-based clubs, all of the NEP 2020 mandates are being met by the National Digital Library of India. So we are trying our best. However, in order to proceed, National Digital Library of India people alone can never meet the goals. We need partners. And for that, we really need content sourced from everywhere. So we have a very well-defined content sourcing mechanism by which open access contents, maybe of an educational institute, repository, library, national or international, teachers, individuals, philanthropic institutions, and we set up an MOU with them and obtain the content. We, as I want to again say, we do not store other content. The content is stored, owned, and under the authority of the provider. However, we want the contents to be publicly and made open access so that it is easy for people to see it from anywhere rather than from your own server, which may not be up all the time. NDLI acquires and creates the metadata and provides. In some special cases, we may also digitize physically. As was just being mentioned, our maximum content is in English, and then Hindi, Bangla, and we are slowly growing on the Indian language front. Here is a weak point, and here is again where I would implore on all of you, all the almost 380 plus participants here, please provide us with content for us to be able to use. How do you participate and contribute? The 3C model. Contribute, collaborate, create. What does this do? It engages institutions, organizations, individuals, entrepreneurs, and various other people to work together. So you can have existing content and from your institution, college, school. Edupreneurs have started working with us, educational entrepreneurs who are providing their content. Individual organizations are providing their content. Derivatives of content, translations, audio versions, questions, answers, solutions, and then various journals who thesis, magazines, etc. And if you make a new content, then again, you can also provide that content. So contents must be free from plagiarism. Content should be licensed under Creative Commons, made open access, and NDLI will acknowledge and provide the review. I would request you to go to NDLI and see how many such contributors are there. The World eBook Library was one of the important digital libraries from which we sourced a lot of content, and we are eager to do so in the future, provided the budgeting is done by the ministry. There are various unique solutions. Individuals, Philo is a very unique app where students express their doubt over WhatsApp. The Philo group finds the best teacher for it. They create a video and provide it, upload it. And this video is made available in the National Digital Library. This is one example. The Satyajit Ray, the Sabarmati Ashram, the Value of Words, all of them have become our participants and contributors. Therefore, we are very eager to work with you. Balani ji, we are very eager to get the World eBook Library content again, and we will be very happy to help in any way in requesting the government again. Thank you again. This is a movement of this nation, and we really request all your support to take this movement forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor, and thank you for your support for the World Library. And Krys is here with us today, and I'm sure he will help us also. And it will be our pleasure to be part of NDLI, any time of the, years to come, and be part of it in the growth of the research in India. And Professor, you asked me a question 4 days ago that what kind of a participation is expected today. And so I have analyzed the registrations, and I would like to inform you and other speakers that we have participants from InflipNet, CSIR laboratories, Soils Department, CBSE schools, some private schools, political science department, psychology, agriculture, pharmacy. There is an NTR Med Consortium in Hyderabad. They are participating. Department of Anthropology, Design, Polytechnics, History, Nursing, BTech colleges, Art and Culture, IT Department, Physical Education, NLIS, that Master of Library Information Science students, Maths departments, Law, Education, BEd, Department of Commerce, Physics, Biotechnology, Ministry of Power, Naturopathy and Yoga. So you can see the usage, and I'm sure all this.
Have you noticed that you have got also international people participating?
Yes, I noticed that also, and of course some we had to restrict, so we have done that also. But yes, we do promote it to neighboring countries like Bangladesh and Nepal. And in fact, you'll be surprised that the last time when we had this webinar, the winner was from Nepal. The first winner came from Nepal, and we were very happy about that. So we do support these countries. And then you also mentioned that, in fact, I have been to Bangladesh a couple of years ago, and I did talk about NDLI, and it's heavily being
I will
used there.
Request you, Balani Saab,
yes, sir,
is that with this huge audience, if your Balani Infotech can coordinate sourcing of content from individual teachers, all these people,
okay,
and you and we can work out a mechanism by which we can get all these people to contribute quality content, and it can jointly go to NDLI and World Library, then we will be doing the world a service. So if we can take this forward, and I'm sure Professor Dr. Jagdish Arora will also agree that if we can make a movement with all this audience and your group of people who are your supporters, and we can make sure we give everybody the required credit, we should be able to take this forward in a big way.
Definitely, so it's a very good suggestion, and definitely World Library is open to this, and it is also benefit for the authors who do not have their platform. So in fact, they can use World Library platform. They don't charge anything for the content, like, and then put it on, NDLI platform. So I
So
think that will
that's
be
a
a
very
good
good
thing.
suggestion.
Yeah,
NDLI, World Library, and your team can work out a mechanism
definitely,
by
definitely,
which
sir.
it can go to NDLI platform, World Library platform,
Yes,
and be
sure.
available to all the people in India.
Sure, sir. We will definitely work on this and get in touch with you later,
Thank you.
of the webinar.
I think
Sure.
I've
Thank
overshot
you.
my time, and
No, sir, it's
Dr.
perfectly
Samanta
okay.
is getting
It
worried.
was important, and I think because of your name and Dr. Jagdish Arora's name, who have been part of the NDLI, and that we have a lot of participation. So thank you once again. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chakrabarti sir. I'm literally excited to know about the Satyajit Ray books, 33 films which are available with NDLI. Definitely, I'll go and search for them. And as you said, it can be a very good platform for researchers to showcase their work, because there's many a times getting citations or getting noticed about their published paper is a much more challenge for authors. So yes, definitely that can be a very good collaboration. So thank you so much for your valuable inputs. Now, moving ahead in our session, I would like to invite our special invitee for today, Dr. Jagdish Arora, sir. Dr. Jagdish Arora currently is advisor, NBA, was director of InclibNet Center from August 2017 to December 2018. He worked as librarian at the IIT Delhi and librarian at IIT Bombay. He was the first national coordinator for INDEST Consortium, NLIST, and eShodh Sindhu. He is recipient of several national and international awards, including Fulbright Professional Fellowship 1997-1998, NDLTD Leadership Award, Young Librarian of the Year, IAS LIC Librarian of the Year, and ILA Koala Best Librarian Award, and many more. He was awarded a citation and memento for his contribution to digital initiatives for higher education by the Honorable Shri Pranab Mukherjee, then the President of India. So, well, I welcome you, sir. Now, our virtual podium is open for you. Thank you. I invite you for your talk.
Thank you, Samantha. To begin with, I would like to mention that, when it came to enriching the content that are made available through National Digital Library, we had a hard choice which one to pick. There was a committee that was made up, and then we looked into what are the possibility of buying contents which could be made available to public. And then, of course, there are a number of sources, but then Word e-book library was one of the massive collection, which about 30 lakhs books that time. It must have increased by now. So 30 lakhs books, and about 300 languages, books spanning into more than 1,000 a year. It was a big attraction to everybody. So the ministry was, we requested the ministry that a committee may be formed to buy this resource for, as a national license. So when it came to the national licenses, the model that we chose was that we give it to every university, every college that asked for. In fact, the colleges, it went to the enlist, and enlist at that time had about 4,000 colleges. So we went to 4,000 colleges, all the libraries of consortium, eShodh Sindhu consortium, as well as all other consortium. So we gave it to all members of all the consortium, government-funded consortium that existed that time. In fact, there was a problem as to, we have given it to everybody. No institution was left. So we made a request to people that come up, and if you want to have access to it, you can have it. So, of course, I must acknowledge that the proprietors of Word Book Library and Balani Infotech was very cordial and very comfort when it came to giving it to as many people as possible. So this was done. And of course, the deal included, like Mr. Balani mentioned, that the book, whatever subscription we have paid over a year of about 5 to 6 years, for every $1, for every $8, we get a book. So like you mentioned, we have lakhs of books that would be available permanently on NDL website, and it will be available to everybody. Of course, one of the part of the deal was that anybody who visit NDL would be able to access books from Word ebook library. So that was a big, I would say, boon, that anyone in the nation can finally access the books that are available in Word ebook library. So that was, I would say that the proprietors came forward to help us in this cause, which was beyond number of subscribing institution that we had bargained for. So it's called Millennium Collection because it has more than 1,000 years of books available in it. And you can think of any language, more than 300 languages are supported. So one can think of all our, Upanishads, Ramayana, Gita, everything, they're all available there. In fact, if you the collection that are available varies from books to journals to articles. You have lakhs of books, which is the primary collection, but journals are also available. Journals which are out of copyright, articles. So if you look at the front of the collection, you will find books which would really mind-boggling. You'll like to read them. Theory of Relativity by Albert Einstein, then Origin of Species by Charles Darwin, then Wealth of Nation by Adam Smith, Noticeable Notes by Leonardo da Vinci, then Simon Freud's, a lot of books by him. So there's a huge collection that are available, and some of them something that everybody must read. Like Samanta got fascinated with the Satyajit Ray. So that kind of collections are available in NDL, and one must definitely go for. Now, the question that comes very often in your mind is, why would you go for a collection which largely consists of open access books, which largely consist of books that are very old, thousands year old, and which largely consist of books that are, the copyright owner is not there for that, or no more in copyright regime. Now, the issue is that if you do a science, or if you are a scientist, you would know that even today, the back files of journals are being downloaded. So articles from back files are downloaded, including journals that are published in 1800. Why is it so? This is the way science is built. You just cannot do work in isolation. You cannot say that, all right, I'll do research on whatever is published in last 5 years. Doesn't happen that way. You have to go back and look for, the beginning of science at that time, sometimes. Like, for example, Tim Berners-Lee. It's basically idea that comes from when you read old literature also. The Tim Berners-Lee, the person known for Web of Science or World Wide Web, who gave birth to World Wide Web. As a young child, in 1960, he read a book which was called Inquire Within and Upon Everything. This is a book published in 1856. He read it in 1960 as a child. And in 1985, he came up with what is called Enquire. So Enquire, I would say, was kind of precursor to World Wide Web. So he came up with that. And his influence, like the title itself suggests, Enquire. He was influenced by that book, Inquire Within and Upon Everything. So he was inspired that, all right, there could be book which gives an information on everything. So he thought, why not I design something like that using the technology that was available in 1985. But soon after, he evolved it from 1985 to 1990 into World Wide Web, because the new technology was there, hypertext concept began to appear and otherwise. So one can see that book published in 1856 gave birth to World Wide Web. So idea is something one can catch from anywhere. So he got it from that books that was published in 1856. This is one. I'll give you another example. In 600 BC, the Greek philosopher Anaximander, he gave a theory which said that same process that occurs on Earth must occur everywhere. So he was basically maybe talking of gravity, he may be talking of all other things, but he said that same process that occurs on Earth must happen everywhere in the universe. He is called father of cosmology. And this idea that came in 600 BC by Anaximander was picked up by Isaac Newton. And Isaac Newton, after reading Anaximander, going through his work, was thinking about it. And then, as everyone knows, the apple falls, and he gave the law of gravity in 1660s. So 600 BC to 1660. Such a long period, but then you get influenced by the work that is done before. Further, law of gravity led to Einstein's special theory of relativity. This was 300 years later in 1905. So you do work on the theory that exists much before you came into being. Now, special theory of relativity got evolved into Big Bang theory by George Lemaitre 20 years later in 1927. And again, from 1927, after 50 years, in 1980, Alan Harvey Guth gave a theory of cosmic inflation. But they are all connected. So you can't say that the theory of cosmic inflation, which is now accepted norms, just came just like that. It gave birth, it came into existence because the previous work. So previous work would always be important. And Word ebook library, with this 1,000-year collections in a very structured manner and searchable in all kind of processes, built into various subsections also, is something which definitely something we must subscribe. Like Mr. Balani mentioned, and Professor Chakrabarti has promised, we are looking into the avenue of how to get this back into Ishod Sindhu as well as in NDL. And I'm sure the good sense would prevail, and this collection would get back into Ishod Sindhu and to everyone. So thanks a lot, Samantha, for giving me a chance. And all the best to the listeners and everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jagdish sir. As you said, research can't be done in silo. That's very true. And science or any kind of research is not finished until it's communicated. So
Right.
communication is very much important, and I feel World Library and NDLI are the perfect platforms for this kind of communication to spread to the common people. Kailash, you would like to add something?
Yes, sure. Definitely. I think this talk was very interesting, and gives the thinking to youngsters that you can't throw away the old stuff. It's like seniors. We learn from seniors, we learn from our parents who have gained over the years. So I think archive are very important and must be respected, and research comes out of those back volumes, because that is really a valuable collection. People have done research even without tools. Today we have computers, so research has become much faster. Imagine 20-30 years ago, when there was no internet, you had to go to every corner of your library to find a book, and books were lying in some corner, they were dusty, and so research took a lot of time and a lot of pain. So we should value and respect such collections. So I think that's very important. But there is also a flip side, which I noticed as a distributor, that I don't know why, the librarians, when they call for exhibition of books, the first they give us is, please don't bring any books which are more than 2 years old. Now, I don't understand that. I mean, I think it should be on the faculty to decide whether this book could be even published 20 years ago is good for them or not. But how can you say that don't bring any book which is more than 2 years old? If that is the case, then all the libraries should replenish their libraries every year, throw away the old books and buy new books every year. I mean, I would be happy, I will really make a lot of money, but doing that. But I think we need to change our mindset and respect the content. So thank you very much, Dr. Arora, and thank you for your support for the World Library. And I'm sure, with your, contribution still in the industry. I mean, you're part of NBA, which is a much, respectable organization, and you are still moving around, and you're part of the library information science fraternity and very well respected. So I'm sure your help will be grateful, and thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kailash sir. Sir, as you said about the old content, I remember one time during my PhD, with one of the experiment, I was stuck, and the paper that I received, which was useful for me for that experiment, it was a handwritten PDF copy of some of the scientists that the work has been done in past. So yeah, those are very important aspects which we should consider. So moving ahead, now we have our guest speaker of the day, Mr. Krys, with us from World Library. Mr. Krys Foo, he's Director Data Science Standards and Information I Group. Krys is responsible for promoting resources and analytic solutions which support fact-based research and development across a wide spectrum of institutions around the world. In his opinion, in this Google age, most of the students just go for a quick answers without doing much research into how the answers are derived. They eventually lose the skill of discovery, which forms the basis of understanding facts and creating new knowledge and innovation. World Library provides a wide and deep archive of primary information to meet the learning and needs and curiosity of the students. So, to shed some more focus on the importance of primary sources and how World Library helps in this scenario, I would now hand over our virtual podium to Mr. Krys. Krys, I invite you for your talk. Please join us.
Thank you. Can you hear me and see my screen?
Yes, your screen is visible. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is
Afternoon.
Krys. Good afternoon. And also good afternoon to Chakrabarti sir and Arora sir, Kailash sir. Thanks for having me on this webinar. It's a big pleasure. And also to everybody who take time to join this webinar. I'm based in Singapore. I work for a company called iGroup, and we distribute the World eBook Library to the global markets. Right. So once again, I'd like to thank the National Digital Library of India for being a steadfast customer of the World Library for the years 2016 to 2019. It's been a great pleasure working with everybody on the team. For World Library, we distribute to more than 20 countries around the world. Some of the consortia that we work with, to the likes of ANCORS in Turkey, the Laureate International Universities in Latin America, and also the DRAA consortia in China. These are some of the consortia that we work with, together with the NDLI. I think Dr. Arora sir mentioned very pointedly about the importance of having very wide and deep e-resources for the benefit of our students and also for researchers. As you can see on this slide, generally, the secondary sources that are available out there make up probably about 1/8 of the total knowledge base. Whereas for about 7 over 8 of the sources belong to primary sources. All right. So what's the difference between secondary sources and primary sources? It's for secondary sources, these are, for example, I'll just give you an example. So say for a diary of a Vietnamese immigrant, how this immigrant migrates to USA and assimilates into the society. So that diary will be an example of a primary resource, okay? Whereas if a professor were to do a study to look at maybe 100 or 200 Vietnamese immigrants in the USA, right? I'm trying to extrapolate that. This study would become a secondary source because it's a second-hand account of what's happening. So if we just focus on what are available out there, which are already at a second level kind of analysis, we will miss out, a large chunk of information, the first-hand resources, which are very valuable, and they form the basis, the foundation for future research, right? Okay, so according to the Library of Congress, why is it so important for people to have access to primary sources? When people have access to primary sources, they can investigate, they can interrogate the data, the information, and they can cross-learn, different kinds of things, whether it's social or economic. All these things can have interrelationship with one another. So when students have access to primary sources, it gives them an opportunity to learn and become creative because they actually get hands-on with the data and information. Especially in today's Google age, many students are just happy to be able to find instant answers. We call that instant gratification. This is a phenomenon over the last 10, 20 years. But I think what we're missing very much is when students are used to being spoon-fed and just get quick answers on the go, they really miss out the opportunity to do good, solid research. And good, solid research is very important for us to develop innovation. And with today's globalized world, it's becoming more and more important for people to have that competitive, inquisitive skill set. Just now, Dr. Arora sir mentioned about Albert Einstein, Adam Smith, Leonardo da Vinci. I have a slide here that talks about Albert Einstein. So Albert Einstein made breakthrough findings, and he published papers in 1905. That's 115 years ago. One of the most famous paper is the paper on the theory of relativity, right? So if you were to look at this citations graph, you see that this is not all the way back to the time it was published, but the last 30 years, from 1982 all the way to recent. You can see that the citations for his paper keep increasing. This is very interesting, right? Because you thought that a paper which was published in 1905, probably it may not be so relevant today. However, the converse is the case, because more and more people, researchers, are going back to the foundation to understand, what are the implications, what are the crux of the findings from that paper, and the knowledge builds on itself. So it's actually very important for our students, researchers, to have access to all this deep-rooted information going back to hundreds, if not thousands of years, to find out, what actually went on and what are the key findings from there. And with that foundation, they can produce even more innovation. These are three very familiar faces to most of us. You've got Elon Musk, you've got Warren Buffett, and also Bill Gates. they are super wealthy, of course, but at the same time, they are also very different from normal people in a sense that they read a lot, right? They are avid readers. Like, for example, for Elon Musk, he said that he was raised by books, interestingly, right? Books and then my parents. But the point is that he read many books from different kinds of disciplines, right? And it's from those books that he read that gave him ideas. In fact, he claimed that how he built rocket was the rockets, which is SpaceX and very successful venture company now. He got all those ideas from reading. Right? And similarly for Warren Buffett, every day he make it a point to read 500 pages every day, despite his very busy schedule. Right? And also for Bill Gates, he likes to read a wide range of books, even queer, obscure books. He reads them because he realizes that when he reads very widely from different disciplines, he can get different ideas and fertilize those ideas. The World Library Foundation was created in the year 1996 in Hawaii. So this is the place where it all started. And the founder of the World Library Foundation is Dr. John Oliado. And the mission for the World Library Foundation is to empower everyone to read. This is the WLF office. This is where Dr. John Oliado is. This is the key person. Okay. Just a few key points about the World Library. It's got very deep resources. Going back to 1,000 years ago, there are 1.6 million ebooks on the platform at a very affordable price point for patrons. Some of the very popular genres and titles are coming from the OCLC top titles, all right? And they're all curated from 53,000. They're held by 53,000 libraries in over 94 countries. Many of these resources are coming from major American university presses like Harvard, Cornell, Yale, Princeton, Chicago, MIT. So how Dr. John acquired all this knowledge and information is really through a very painstaking process of working with various universities in the US and also in some European countries to scan OCR, the records, and then upload onto the World eBook Library platform. There are large volumes of all-time classics, which provides different cross perspectives for readers. And also the World Library is available anytime, anywhere on most devices, which is very easy for people to access the content. Right, so really from the 10th century until today, it's got a vast knowledge of resources available for users. And here you have the various sources that feed into the World Library through partnerships that Dr. John Oliado built up since 1996. Some of the most popular titles on the World Library platform is from OCLC, right? All these are the all-time classics. Of course, research from Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, or even Adam Smith, all these are also hot favorites. The World Library database is curated into core categories like the American Library section, social science, history, European libraries, political science, Asian literature, so on and so forth, to make it easier for the patrons to find what they need. But of course, we do encourage patrons to read widely, to cross read across different genres, because you gain new ideas through this form of learning. Right, so here is a snapshot of the kind of books that are available the World Library platform. So we've got species like Dr. Arora and Albert Einstein's relativity theory, E equals to mc squared. For your time, and I'll hand over back to the host. Thank you.
Thank you, Krys, so much for your such a detailed information on World Library. Hope all of our participants who are here, they would like to know more about World Library and they are going to visit the portal, and definitely we will be more than happy to help them all with knowing more about World Library. Thank you so much. So right now I would like to announce our next panelist was Dr. PV Kunnur sir, but we got just information from his side that he is traveling because of some urgent issues and he won't be able to join us. So now further in our session, we will be able to discuss the perspective of our eminent librarians over the use and role of the primary resources in their library. And to continue our this very informative session, I would now like to invite our next eminent panelist from JNU, Dr. Manorama Tripathi ma'am. Dr. Manorama Tripathi holds a doctorate in Library and Information Science from Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. At present, she is working as librarian at JNU, New Delhi. Prior to joining JNU, she served IGNOU, New Delhi as documentation officer, University of Delhi and BHU Varanasi as faculty member. Dr. Manorama Tripathi is a recipient of Best Paper Award from Raja Ram Mohan Library Foundation. She has published more than 65 research articles in national and international scholarly journals and conference volumes. She has done several presentations and delivered talks at CEC, UGC, refresher and orientation programs of the universities across the country. She has visited many countries for participating in national and international conferences. Her interest area, her research area includes information seeking behavior of researchers, innovative library services, and many more. So, Manorama ma'am, I welcome you. Now, a virtual podium is open for you. Thank you so much.
So a very warm namaste and good evening to Professor Chakrabarti, Jagdish Arora sir, and my co-panelist, Mr. Balani and Dr. Sreeparna Samanta. At the very outset, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. I'm happy to share time and space with all of you. I have just listened to the presentation by the resource person on e-library, and I visited the website, and I have observed that it provides access to more than 1.6 million ebooks. And interestingly enough, it includes books in Indian languages as well. So let me share that JNU offers language courses at various levels: certificate, diploma, degree, PG, and PhD. And further, I want to say that libraries worldwide are offering nowadays, because of this pandemic, nowadays are offering access-based services due to this in the present daunting times, and in-person library services and facilities are under suspension these days. And anecdotal evidence also shows that students don't get required content when students require content in languages other than English. So I think this database will certainly help language students and they will really benefit. And another important point which I want to make when I say, when we talk of primary resources, and databases like e-library or for that matter, NDLI. As library professionals, I say we will believe in providing equitable access to information to one and all. When I say equitable access to information, are being made to bring visually challenged students in the mainstream, to extend them facilities in their academic and research endeavors. So I think such databases or such facilities like like NDLI help. As there are more than 7.3 crores documents, and they are available in different languages. And the best part of the whole thing is, which I feel as as a user, or which I feel, which I share on the basis of my experience, that you can access it without even registering. And our users believe in the principle of least effort. So if there is a provision of registering with the website, they will be deterred. But in this case, they can access without even registering. So this is, I think, as a user and as a library professional, I feel this is a rather encouraging thing. And then another important thing, search techniques and use of filters, which we can use on the interface. We can use different filters. We can use delimiters in order to narrow down our research, in order to expand our research. These are very user-friendly features which help users. And then, as Professor Chakrabarti pointed out, that NDLI clubs are 2,500 in number and are growing. And these really help in spreading awareness and orienting the users towards the facilities. And since it has a lot of content in different formats, and it provides access to different sources, different open access sources too, and then it facilitates, like, some if you are just glancing through the website and just exploring the different things, then you all of a sudden come across very interesting treasure, like, as Professor Chakrabarti mentioned, documents pertaining to Satyajit Ray. And then our moderator was very excited because maybe she was looking for such contents. So this is something very important, and this is something not only important, but this has been well researched upon, and it is known as serendipity of information. That means when we are looking for something else, but we come across something different, something very interesting. And this is a term which we use in our library and information science, this is serendipity of information. When we come across exciting information, new exciting information by chance, then it is. And so this is how it helps. Such sources, such databases, such facilities help. And then it also helps because all these things are available. These such facilities also facilitate, also support our visually challenged students, because they get everything through single search interface. This is very important. Then, as this e-library, this as the resource person pointed out, and Jagdish Arora sir also highlighted, that it has publications of almost 1,000 years. So even old literature is very important, because when we undertake any research or when we initiate research, forward searching and backward searching is very important. And as we all know, we all are besotted with Google and Google Scholar, and the homepage of Google Scholar mentions stand on the shoulder of giants. So this means we need to know what has already been published, what has already been reported, in order to build our work, in order to start our work. So even old literature is very important. And as sir, and I'll say that as sir pointed out, that Tim Berners-Lee, he read some book in which was published in 1856, which he read in 1860, and then that book was instrumental in contributing to what he did in 1985. So that means right content to the right user at the right time plays a pivotal role, in triggering new ideas, in bringing new innovations. So that is why it's important, and the collection is mind-boggling, as mentioned by Sir. And so, and as mentioned by resource person on e-library, books have tremendous importance. As Elon Musk said, he was raised by books and parents, though I would have preferred the other way around. So books are very important, but often it is seen that users do not get access to what they want at the right time. So search sources are important, access is important. And as a library professional, I feel we need to need to undertake more of awareness programs, more of awareness, because still as a library professional, I feel most of the basic things are also not, I'll say researchers or students are ignorant of the basic library facilities or library collections. So for this all, for disseminating, for spreading awareness, for sensitizing users to all the wonderful resources which we have, we do need to take, I'll say, awareness sessions, awareness programs on a larger scale, or I would say on a war footing. Though we have achieved a lot, but we still have miles to go. So I'll say, to conclude, I'll say these are wonderful resources which will which will facilitate the researchers, especially, as I said, visually challenged students, and especially students who are writing or who are researching in languages other than English. Because right now libraries have suspended in-person library facilities, but these can be these access-based services can be extended to researchers through these databases and through these resources and facilities. And secondly, I again repeat and I underline, we have to spread, we have to sensitize users, we have to spread awareness with regard to the availability of these resources. And of course, we have to spread awareness with regard to how to use, because often resource users know, but they don't know how to apply filters, how to conduct advanced search, how to conduct basic search, how to save results. So for want of these skills, users cannot make optimum use of the services, or use of the databases, or use of the facilities which are being extended to them. So I once again thank organizers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, and best wishes to all of you.
Thank you so much, Manorama ma'am. Thank you. The term serendipity of information, that was actually quite new to me, and very exciting. I am to know about that term. I'm going to read more on that particular topic. Yes, definitely. Awareness programs are much more required, so that researchers, new students who are coming to the library, they must know what kind of facilities these huge libraries are providing to them. So thank you so much for your inputs. Now I would like to invite our next eminent panelist, Dr. Jatinder Kumar. He is PhD from Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar. He has experience of more than 19 years. He has publications above 35, including some of the book chapters and articles. He has participated and organized many webinars, workshops, and seminars. Coordinator of National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning, NPTEL, University Coordinator of Implement Shodh Ganga and Shodh Gangotri programs, Member Academic Council, Baddi University of Emerging Science and Technology, Member IQAC, Baddi University and Emerging Science and Technology, Indian Library Association. He is also member of Punjab Librarian Association, reviewer Informing Science Society, USA. He is also reviewer of the Journal of Issues in Informing Science and Information Technology. So now I would like to invite Dr. Jatinder Kumar sir. He is University Librarian from LPU. Hello, Jatinder sir. Hello. Jatinder sir, we are not able to.
Hello.
Audible, yeah.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
now we can see you, sir, and
Oh,
hear you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So thank you very much. First of all, Dr. P.V. Chakrabarti and Dr. Jagdish Arora, Mr. Krys, P.V. Kulnur and Manorama Tripathi, Dr. Sreeparna, and of course, the Kailash Balani sir. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak over here in front of the eminent speakers. And the topic is quite interesting, like primary sources and the role of libraries and the World Library. So I would like to say that right from the beginning, like from Library of Alexandria to the e-library, there is always the connect of library with the society, with the people, and of course it's a big role of libraries to make people aware, make people more knowledgeable, and there is definite role of libraries. So we can't say that we can't live without libraries. Nowadays people are talking about that if the internet is there, then what is the fun of having a library? But the libraries have their own importance. The kind of environment the libraries give to the readers, it is not available anywhere else. So with this, I would like to share my screen and start my presentation. Can you see my presentation?
No.
No, sir, no, we are not able to see your screen.
Just a minute, ma'am. It's not responding right now. Of course, the system is there, technologies are there, but still there is some technicalities. We are always having some problem with the technology, and the same thing is happening with me. I'm not able to upload my.
Yes, sir, it is now visible. Hope soon it will be on the screen. Yes, sir, it's visible. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So World Library, a primary source of library content. Of course, if you talk about the World Library, if you search a keyword World Library in a
Sir,
Google.
now you are not audible.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the topic of World Library, a primary source of library content. So my presentation revolve around some of the points, and these points are that primary sources of information, world libraries, world digital libraries, challenges for making digital libraries, what is missing in traditional setup, and the LPO library system, which is with us, and we are offering services to the users. Like Mr. Krys has already defined the primary sources, but still it is important to define here once again. The primary sources are generally considered to be the first-hand information or first-hand account for the artifact of the historical events, person culture such as diaries, contemporary observations, audio and video recordings, photographs, maps, oral histories, etc. Means these are the original source of information, means which is not published elsewhere before. So those are called the primary sources of information. And yes, definitely libraries are the main central point where you can find all these primary sources. So types of primary sources are also there, just taken from the South by Institute of Art Libraries. If you talk about the original documents, there are the diaries, speeches, correspondences, interviews, manuscripts, government document, news, film footages, archival material, autobiographies. So these come under the original documents. Then you have the creative works, and it comes like artworks, novels, poetries, music, architectural drawing, and all those things. And then you have the relics and artifacts like pottery, decorative arts, clothing, building, and textiles. So these all things comes under the primary source of information. So library is an amazing place, whether it's a community library or a university one, whether it has a small collection or a million of books, a library is an amazing place where you will find primary source of information in abundance. If you go to any sort of library, whether it's a public or academic or a special library, you will find primary source of information there. And specifically in libraries, we get the articles, the theses, and the project reports, dissertations. Those are called the primary source of information in any sort of library, and they're heavily used around the world. So if you talk about the traditional setup of the libraries, some of the libraries I have given over here in my presentation, Library of Congress, which is a quite old library built in 1800, and it consists of 162 million records. So records means they have books, they have journals, they have maps, diagrams, so lots of materials available with these sort of libraries. And then you have the National Library, established in 1909, and 35.1 million records. And then you have New York Public Library, established in 1890, 53 million records. And then you have British Library, which is established in 1973 with 150 million records available. And then you have the National Library of India. Sorry, I have forgotten to mention the date of establishment over here and the records. It is approximately more than 30 lakhs books are available with the National Library of India. And of course, you have the World Library. And the moment you search the World Library on a Google, you will get lots of information. But the first link which is given over there on Google itself is the definition of the public library, is the World Library. And it says that World Public Library Millennium Collection offers millions of books by greatest writers of the last 1,000 years. So you will get the material from all the 10 continents, and the material is totally free of cost available, and it is available in more than 300 different languages. So in all subject fields, the material is available, the collection is available. We talk about the e-books, the textbooks, the thesis, reports, paintings, drawings, maps, everything is available in the World Library. What you need to do is just to log into this World Library and you will get all the material available free of course. This is the interface of the World Library, and lots of collections are there which is really available. We'll discuss some more libraries, and we have the World Digital Library. The World Digital Library is an international digital library operated by the UNESCO and the United States Library of Congress. The World Digital Library was launched on April 21st, 2019 at UNESCO headquarters in Paris. It lists more than 19,000 items from nearly 200 countries and dating back to 800 BC. So this is the interface of the World Digital Library. So nowadays, more and more digital libraries are coming up, and these are more, beneficial to the society, to the students, to the researcher, because we have seen that during the last year, the pandemic situation, still we are suffering with same situation, and people are not able to go to the physical libraries. So they are using such platforms to, make themselves aware to get the relevant information, and they are heavily used around the world. Then you have the Europeana. Europeana is a digital library created by the European Union, containing a digitized cultural heritage collection of more than 3,000 institutions across the Europe. So the collaboration among the 3,000 institutions in the Europe, and they have made a very good platform of this Europeana digital library. So this is the platform, and of course, lots of material is available, and it is very easy to log in and very easy to use collection. Then you have the Internet Archives. The Internet Archives is an American digital library with the stated mission of universal access to the knowledge. It provides free public access to collection of digitized material, including the website, software, application, games, music, videos, movie images, and millions of books. And as of April 2021, the Internet Archives hold over 30 million books and texts, 8.9 million movies, videos, and TV shows. And there are 3.8 billion images also, and 580 billion web pages. If you want to see that how the web 1.0 look like, you can go to this Internet Archives and see that what was the history of World Wide Web. So this is again a very very amazing and very wonderful platform where you can see the historical background of the technology and how the internet has made it's a kind of importance in the public life. This is the interface of archive, World Archive, and they have a special collection on Indian public library as well. So you can see that there are more than 6 lakh documents are available, which are from the India itself, Indian origin. Then you have the Project Gutenberg. It was founded in 1971 by the American writer Michael S. Hart. This is the oldest digital library, and by May 2021, it has more than 65,000 articles, ebooks. So the old collection basically you can find from the Project Gutenberg. The old like novels, like fictions, everything can be found in the Project Gutenberg. And if the person is having interest in fictions or in literature, he or she can certainly go to the Project Gutenberg and see the collection over there. And again, there is another digital library, which is HathiTrust Digital Library. HathiTrust Digital Library is a large-scale collaborative repository of digital content from research libraries, including the content digitized via Google Books and the Internet Archives digitization initiative, as well as the content is digitized locally by the libraries. So it was founded in October 2008 with the 12 universities of the Committee on Institutional Cooperation and 11 libraries of the University of California. So again, a very, very unique platform where you can find number of ebooks and other material available on this platform. This is the website of HathiTrust. You can note down, the participant can note down and see the collection over here. The name is quite interesting, like HathiTrust. Hathi is taken from the Hindi language, and just because Hathi has a kind of huge memory, it can store the information. So that is why they got this name from Hathi, the HathiTrust.org. Of course, you have the Google Books available with you. Lots of people are using Google Books nowadays, and it is again a very good platform. Of course, there are some levels for Google Book, like you have the full view, preview, snippet view, and no preview. In full view, you can download the books on your system and you can read all of the book. In preview, some of the contents are available, some of the pages are available, depending on the publisher that how many pages you want to offer to the Google. And in the snippet view, you get only two or three lines about the book or only the cover page. And in no preview, the publishers do not provide any sort of information to the Google. Only the title of the book is available. So these kinds of previews are available, and 40 million titles are available. With the Google Books. So lots of books are available with the Google itself. So you can go to books.google.com and you can download the books, read the book. This is the interface of the Google Book. Then you have the LibriVox, and LibriVox is the audiobooks and audiobooks platform. It was founded in 2005 by the Hugh McGuire to provide acoustical liberation of the books in the public domain. And LibriVox objective is to make all books in the public domain available for free in audio format. So specifically the people who are blind, who are visually impaired, they can listen these kind of books. Even general public, if they are not willing to read a book by themselves, they can certainly download such books from the LibriVox and they can just get the desired information. So more than 15,000 books are available in the LibriVox. Of course, they have the app also. So the people who are using smartphone, they can download the app of LibriVox and they can listen the books itself. This is the interface of LibriVox. And then the National Digital Library of India, the eminent speaker have already told about, Mr. Chakrabarti has already told about the Digital Library of India. And it has immense collection in more than 76 languages. And it's a kind of Indian face of a digital library to the world. So the IIT Kharagpur is the main point where the server is located, and all the digital library of the world are interconnected with the DSpace interface. So the person who are registered with the National Digital Library, they can freely access World eBook Library, South Asia Archives, and OECD Library, Satyajit Ray Society as well. So these kinds of stuff are freely available. Whosoever get him or herself registered with the National Digital Library of India. This is the interface of National Digital Library of India. Very beautiful interface. And the search is unique. There is the basic search and the advanced search. Depend upon you that what kind of information you are looking for. So you can go for specific search keys and you can find the relevant information. Then on the local level in Punjab, basically I'm from Punjab, so on local level we have the Punjab Digital Library. This is a very good initiative taken by a voluntary organization. So there are 30 million digitized pages available with the Punjab Digital Library on the Punjabi culture and the Sikh rituals, Sikh culture. So the headquarters is in Chandigarh, and a very beautiful collection is available in this digital library. So there are lot of digital libraries available around the world. These are the only few ones. And if you really want to go for a digital library or the information, you want a good information on digital library, you can go to this page and you'll find the list of digital libraries available and who are working around the world. So the challenges, of course, physical libraries are always there, but still nowadays when we are suffering with the pandemic situation and the COVID-19, so there are challenges that we are not able to make a connect with the physical libraries. So the university libraries, they are creating digital repositories, digital libraries, so that they can have a connect with the users. So there are some of the challenges are there while making a digital collection or a digital repository. First is the metadata encoding. Second is source of digitization. Third is digital library software, which software is to use. Digital preservation techniques and tools, digital preservation coalition, that who will be the collaborators, partnership. Then the global legal issues. Of course, when you have the collection on your digitized platform, you need to take care about the copyright and digital right management. Such things are always involved, and you should be very cautious about all these things. Then the archival issues are also there, that which things are to be archived and which things are not to be archived. There is always a kind of discussions. Then server configuration and maintenance. Of course, your digital collection is going to be very wide in the coming years. So you need to be very cautious about choosing a server, and the regular maintenance cost. All these things are very important to know. Then digital data center, open archive information system, open archive initiative. So if you are going to make a digital library, so you need to know everything about open archive initiative, metadata harvesting, and all those things. Then some sort of operational problems are always there while making a digital collection, like scanning errors in metadata, language issues, software issues. So while processing the the material, you will find such kind of operational problem. So if a library going to digitize its collection, they may face such problems. So it is suggested that you have the solution of all these things. Now, what is missing with the traditional setup? We have faced that if the library is with a traditional setup, they are not able to make a connect with the users. The libraries who are providing the remote server or the remote services to the users, only those libraries are able to make a connect with the user. So this, and during the pandemic, we have faced such situation where libraries are not able to make a connect with the users. Okay, then lack of awareness, of course, the students or the user, they are not aware that the libraries are offering such kind of resources remotely or through special services. Then improper information marketing. Of course, libraries are not having a good marketing channels. They are not marketing their services, their resources, whatever they have. Then passive attitude of profession. Sometimes it has been observed that the profession, the library profession, they are not very active. So although they have everything with them, but they are not able to make a connect with the users. Then the users' perception about the library. Of course, users, then you don't make a connect with the users. Then the users say that, okay, everything is available on the Google. Why should I go to the library? Or library is not having the type of material, type of information which I require. So that connect is also missing. Then less effort for building national or international level libraries or repositories. So we have seen that only a seldom, kind of efforts are available where we have made a national or international level repositories. Like you have the NDLI, you have the Shodhganga, Shodhganga. So such kind of interfaces are there. But if you talk about some other initiatives, then there is need to have some more such kind of repositories, and government have to take initiative to make such kind of more repositories like this. Then you talk about the LPU library system. We always try to make a connect with the users, and we have some sort of lectures. Then we have some sort of orientation programs, and we have some library visits. Then we make people aware about the library sources through webinars and some other online lectures. So this is how we make a connect with the users so that they can understand that what is available with the library and how they can get the access to all these resources. So connect is very, very much important. We have everything. Lots of speakers over there. They talk about the different digital library initiatives and all those things. But the connect is missing somewhere. We are not able to connect with the users. If you talk about the students, they are still Googling the things. They are not going to particular platform. They are not going to NDLI. They are not going to World Library. They are just Googling everything. So that making people aware and making a connect is very important. What the Manorama ma'am has said, that to make people aware, to sensitize the students, this is more important nowadays. Then, of course, we have a number of resources and services. We have more than 135 systems with us, and all the digital literature is available to the students. Of course, we have the remote access as well. So nowadays, students are not coming to the library, so they are accessing all the resources at their home. So improved services are always there. We have a kind of thinking that we need to improve our services. So we provided phone booth services to the students that if they have some important calls, they can go to the phone booth in the library and they can listen. And the users, they save the time of users. This is one of the point what Ranganathan has mentioned, that so we save the time of the users. They don't need to come to the circulation point of the library. There is a self-circulation system, so the student can get the book issues themselves and they can return the book to themselves as well. Then to provide the best of the environment, we always look forward that we should provide a better environment to the student where they can they can sit, relax themselves and have a leisure reading. So such kind of environment is is very important nowadays in libraries. Then we always welcome our reader with positive attitude. This is the front desk of the library, and all the queries are resolved at the front desk itself. So all the the queries related to primary sources, related to secondary sources, everything is dealt here at the the reference counter of the library. So we make people aware about all the resources. We make people aware about all the external resources which are freely available, and cater them as per their requirements. So we have almost 11 libraries in our LPU library system. The central library is the biggest one. Nearly 3 lakh documents are available, serving to more than 35,000 users. So besides, we have 3,000 staff members as well. So there is strong community of users. Libraries are fully automated with the RFID system. And the public interfaces of the library are the library website, library web app, Easy Proxy, which is the remote access service of the library, and the library repository, which is made on the DSpace, are the online interfaces of the library. So sitting at home, user can access the libraries and they can get all the material available with the library, whether it's articles, essays, e-books, everything we are getting at their doorstep. So we have the skilled staff members who always listen to the users' queries and help them in a better way. So this is all about from myself. Thank you very much, Balani Infotech. Special thank you, Sreeparna ma'am and Kailash Balani sir, who has given me the opportunity to talk over here, have a talk over here. And I hope users may have got some good things from this lecture, from this small talk. Thanks once again to the organizers.
The places which you have suggested, and thank you once again for your valuable inputs. Now we are open for section for our participants, and we will be providing all our participants with e-certificates. So those e-certificates will be available to you via the email IDs that with you have registered, and it will take at least 7 to 10 working days so that you will be able to receive those e-certificates. Now I would ask our technical team to share the quiz link, as well as I will be sharing.
It is shared now.
Yeah, so the link is already shared. This link will be active for 10 to 15 minutes. So I request all our participants to go through the link and answer. And I again thank all our eminent panelists, speakers, guest speakers who have taken their time from their busy schedule to come and join with us for this very informative session. And if any of our panelists or speakers, they want to leave the session, they can now leave the session, and we will be keeping the session open for our participants for 10-15 minutes more. So thank you once again for joining Balani Infotech with their big info webinars, and we will be continuing these webinars in future also. So please keep on joining us for such kind of informative sessions.